Today is reporting from ground zero. This is Palestinian West Bank. There are several enclaves and settlements here where you have the Israeli population also. In fact, of the 300,000 people who live here, 86% are Palestinians, about 14% are Israeli settlers who have, very well protected enclaves in this area. It's almost like a military cantonment, and anyone who attempts to come close to the fortification, there's firing, tear gas shells are fired, and protesters here also come with gas masks. Where we are right now, this is the central square, at the central roundabout at Ramallah. This is the Ramallah Bira area, and this is where the protesters are slowly gathering. I want to show you these images of youngsters waving the Palestinian flag. They've assembled here. Ambulances are already out. There are separate enclaves where the Palestinians can go, areas where only Israelis stay, and of course there are then those areas where both Palestinians and Israelis can go, but then there is a lot of security in place. But right now, tension palpably high. I want to show you a report. Just when we reached the Palestinian West Bank, there wasn't a soul in sight. But the situation is fast deteriorating. It's taking a turn for the worse as Israeli forces move in a bigger way to ensure that all Hamas sleeper cells and fighters are immediately taken into custody. More ambulances are now coming in, because as the protesters come close, Israeli forces target those protesters, and ambulances are then rushed in to take those protesters to the nearest hospital. We bring you this ground report. India Today is reporting from ground zero at the West Bank, and it's Friday. After the Friday prayers, there is some trouble which is expected in this part of the territory. In fact, the Israeli Defense Forces, they've been very aggressive. The Israeli Defense Forces have arrested more than 70 suspected Hamas fighters in this area. And this has happened just in the past 24 hours. The Israeli forces swooped in, made those arrests, and took those suspects away. But apart from that, the expectation is hours from now, as people assemble for Friday afternoon prayers at the mosque here. This is where India Today will be reporting from. There will be clashes with the Israeli forces. The apprehension is, after Gaza Strip, this could be the second front where the Israeli forces could be engaging with the rising anger amongst the Palestinian youth. India Today is the first channel to be reporting from so deep inside the West Bank. So we were at Ramallah, now we've come to Bira. This is where you have some Israeli settlements, and in these settlements are being targeted by the Palestinian youth, who say that the airstrikes that have been carried out at more than 100 locations. The situation remains extremely tense, extremely grim. The images are being broadcast in every home live. But if you notice the road around me, every shop is shut, every house, there are people who are barricaded inside. Watch, there is an apprehension. There is this there is this fear, there is this apprehension that the Israeli forces will come in a big way and start making those arrests, especially of the youth. But there are some who say that this is the time to defy the Israeli forces. This is the time for the youth to come out on the streets and stand with the people in Gaza. And you have to be very careful what you say, what you speak when you are here at the West Bank, because the situation, one, very volatile, two, very, very tense. Now, this is a place which is home to close to 30 lakh people, 86% Palestinians, 14% Israeli settlers. And there have been instances of violence, of targeted attacks that have been taking place. And that is why the Israeli forces are also deployed in larger numbers. We're getting to where this apprehension is that there could be violence. And again, in the West Bank, this could well be the second frontier. Israel is now fighting a war on multiple fronts against Hamas at Gaza Strip. Hamas investing extensively even here in West Bank. Several Hamas fighters have been taken into custody here at the West Bank, where I am right now, and also with the Hezbollah on the Lebanon border. So as far as Israeli forces are concerned, they could be facing trouble on multiple fronts, from Gaza to West Bank to the Lebanon border. This is a conflict which is Hamas versus Israeli forces. But Hamas has also been trying to make major inroads in the West Bank, in Ramallah, in Beira, where I am right now. And, we were advised by the Israeli forces not to stay at any one location for too long, because the apprehension is that while the Palestinians here in the West Bank want peace and development, and you're looking at, those benefits of peace and development in this part of the West Bank. Watch around me, big malls, big shops, well-to-do people. You have massive showrooms, you have KFC, all of that is here. Big automobile showrooms also here, but again a very densely populated colony or locality here. This is where the Palestinian Authority also have their office. The Prime Minister's office wasn't far from where we were reporting from earlier today. But the Hamas is not restricted just to Gaza Strip now. Hamas has increasingly tried to make major inroads here, and 70 Hamas fighters were arrested in the past 24 hours. Close to 500 have been arrested since the 7th of October incident that had taken place. So right now, this is an extremely volatile zone. This is virtually sitting, this is a tinderbox. Even the West Bank is becoming a tinderbox, and Israeli forces are deployed in adequate numbers to ensure that this doesn't emerge as the second front. The apprehension is after Gaza, West Bank could emerge as the second front. This is a very well developed part of the West Bank where I am right now. This is an area which also has open areas. It has so, for example, right behind me, this is a mall where you see some shops of bridal wear, some offices. You also see the Palestinian flag flying high on top at this central roundabout, that petrol pump that you see right behind me. And there are signs of protest. But what you see on top of that hill beyond the fence, now there are some Israeli settlements here. And that's a bone of contention. Look, these are people who are going about their daily lives, their jobs. Watch their big cars in this area. So, whether you have the latest Volkswagen, were in, we have come in here in one of the cars, because Israeli automobiles do not come in here, or they're at least advised not to. When we came to Jerusalem. From Jerusalem, we crossed the border, or that picket fence, if I may. And our Israeli driver didn't come this side. He said, "No, it's not safe." He said, "I will stay right here and wait for you." So I crossed over with some foreign journalists on the other side, and then we got into a car of a Palestinian taxi driver, a Palestinian taxi driver driving the latest Skoda, the latest model of Skoda. So this is a well-to-do place. There are big houses. There's, one of the offices we went to, we interacted with a local journalist, and it's a plush office, overlooks the mountain here. You can see parts of Jerusalem from some places. So this is quite different. But though it is thickly populated, population density immense. I mean, 30 lakh people live in a narrow land bank. And again, while 86% are Palestinian, 13% or 14% are Israeli settlers in this area. And there is now a spike in tension between the Israeli settlers and the Palestinians here at West Bank. There are various pockets of the Israelis inside the West Bank, and they are protected by the Palestinian forces. So let me show you more images of cars and people at this crossing. But right now, I'm also trying to head to the place where clashes are expected between the Israeli forces and the Palestinian youth, and very, very angry Palestinian youth here. Again, as I was coming in, the advice was do not stay at any one location for too long, because this is where word gets around here very quickly. And the Hamas fighters could also learn that there are foreign journalists here, and then they could come and target people in any one location. So we come to a location, we shoot there, and then we move to the next location to be able to get you a wider perspective of what's happening here.